Hey guys, it's TJ, and I want to welcome you guys to TJ Rants. This will be a little more laid back. Obviously, I'm not going to really edit anything. It's kind of just going to be me talking about basketball when I want to talk about basketball, instead of spending hours on end editing a video. This is just a lot easier, and I wanted to talk about some game recaps. And so we're going to talk about game one of the Western Conference Finals, Nuggets and Lakers. And let me tell you, this game was absolutely incredible. So we start with the Lakers. So let me look at this real quick. So they turned the ball over 7 times this game. They did a great job taking care of the ball, but like 3 of those turnovers came in the first couple minutes, and Denver was gone. They were just running in transition and scoring at will. Nikola Jokic was absolutely incredible in that first quarter. I think he had like 8 points, 12 rebounds, and 5 assists. They just straight up could not stop the man, and they were firing on all cylinders. KCP's knocking down shots. Everyone's getting involved. Michael Porter Jr. is knocking down shots. Aaron Gordon had 8 points in the first quarter, and it just seemed like the Lakers couldn't really counter that in any sort of way. They started with Anthony Davis on Nikola Jokic, and they couldn't stop him. Whether they doubled, if they brought help, it was a trap, because then he'd just kick it out and someone would knock down a 3. And if they let him bang one-on-one with Anthony Davis, he'd back him down, he'd throw up a post hook, and it would drop. And the offense was unstoppable, and that's how the flow of the game was in the first half. There was really nothing the Lakers could do to limit that offense, and Nikola Jokic was creating these easy opportunities for guys. And then in the second quarter, we saw Jamal Murray start to get more involved. They were just utilizing the pick and roll, and they couldn't stop him in the pick and roll. I also thought, like I was saying in my Western Conference Finals preview video, the primary defenders for Jamal Murray would be a little bit of a problem. Obviously, Dennis Schroeder and Austin Reeves, the primary defenders on him. And I just think Dennis Schroeder is a little too small. Murray had his way with him a couple of times getting to the basket, and he was able to draw a couple of fouls too, because Dennis was just undercutting and reaching, and Jamal did a great job taking advantage of that matchup. But we got to talk about this comeback, because Denver had a 21-point lead at one point in the fourth quarter, and the Lakers cut that to 3 late in the fourth. And the big adjustment they made was switching the Joker's primary defender. So in the first half, like I was saying, they put Anthony Davis on him, and it was a disaster. Anthony Davis has obviously been the best defensive player throughout the course of this postseason, but he was matched up against the best offensive player throughout the course of this postseason. And like I was saying, when they tried to double, he'd swing, and when they played one-on-one, he'd just dominate Anthony Davis. And the problem with Anthony Davis guarding Nikola Jokic is that he would be pulled up so far up because they had the Joker bringing the ball up. And so if the Joker's bringing the ball up, you're taking Anthony Davis out of the paint where he's most effective, and that opens up the whole floor for shooters, cutters, and obviously that's what the Nuggets offense is all about. They move fast, they play fast, they cut to the basket, they shoot threes. They're a high-powered offense. And when you have the Joker bringing up the ball and taking AD out of the paint, it opens the whole floor up. But here's what Darvin Ham did in the second half. He switched his primary defender to Rui Hachimura. This is unfiltered, guys. I apologize. But anyways, Rui Hachimura took on the primary assignment of guarding Nikola Jokic, and he did a great job. He was really physical with him, and Anthony Davis was able to play back in the paint like he normally does, finished the game with 2 blocks, 3 steals, and was a lot better defensively in that second half. And I just want to talk about Anthony Davis's shot making and how he played on offense too, because in the first half, so he started off the game rough. He had like 6 points on like 28% shooting in the first quarter. Wasn't great. But then in the second quarter, he started taking over, but it kind of went unnoticed because Denver was still dominating the game. But offensively, Anthony Davis was starting to have his way with Nikola Jokic. Now, I just want to say this. Nikola Jokic is a sneaky defender. He had a couple blocks in the first quarter, which were really impressive, and he was reading the passing lanes pretty good. But Anthony Davis had his way, and he ended up with 40 on the game. Incredible performance. But again, kind of transitioning back to Denver, they couldn't miss. Plain and simple. Like, let me look at their shooting splits real quick. So Denver shot 55% from the field and 47% from 3 on 15 makes. And the Lakers, they can't beat that. Everyone was knocking down shots. Bruce Brown was incredible in the first half. He had 14 points in the second half. I think he was very underutilized in the second half. Bruce Brown's always been an energy guy, even when he was back in Brooklyn. I mean, I know from experience, I'm a Bucks fan, so I've seen Bruce Brown firsthand just tear up our defense just because we pay him no mind. He's a really aggressive player, brings a lot of energy, and I think he could have been big in that second half when LA started to cut into the lead. Really good defender, too. But Aaron Gordon is someone I want to talk about because he was the guy I expected to be guarding LeBron for most of the game. But LeBron was able to get a lot of easy switches, and that's something the Nuggets are going to need to adjust for next game because LeBron really had his way in this game. Finished with 26 points, 12 rebounds, and 9 assists. Really got to the basket whenever the hell he wanted because all they'd switch, he'd get on Jamal Murray, and then he'd take like 3 or 4 back down dribbles and he'd be at the rim, and they'd either bring a late double and he'd score or he'd kick it out. And when I say late double, I mean they didn't bring help fast enough. LeBron would already be at the basket, and then they're going to ask Aaron Gordon or Bruce Brown to come over, and it really made no sense because LeBron had already just backed his way into the paint with ease. So in game 2, they're definitely going to need to scheme ways where Jamal Murray is not having to guard LeBron as much as he did, because whenever the Lakers wanted Jamal Murray to be switched on to LeBron, simple pick and roll, and boom, Jamal Murray's the primary defender, and he got dominated by LeBron. So there's that. Austin Reeves, he had a big game, hit like 3 really clutch threes down the stretch to respond to that Denver offense. But yeah, I was going to say the primary adjustment that LA needed to make to win for game 2 to win that game would be to put Rui Hachimura on Nikola Jokic, but they did it, and it really worked nicely for him. I mean, the Joker had 4 points in the fourth quarter, all free throws, because he just wasn't aggressive. Here's the Nikola Jokic problem. He plays basketball so fundamental that it can be a curse at times. And I say that not in a bad way, but sometimes it can be bad. And in this case, he just wasn't aggressive enough and looking for his shot in the fourth quarter. I mean, this guy was coming off a third quarter where at the final buzzer, he'd heaved up a step back 3. Anthony Davis, beautiful contest, and he drilled it. He was on fire. He was like 12 of 15 at the time. Finished 12 of 17. Took like 2 shot attempts in the fourth quarter, and all 4 of his points came at the line. Rui was guarding him up top, AD was sagging in the paint, and he wasn't looking for his shot. That's a problem. So next game, he's going to need to be more aggressive with Rui on him and try to look for his own shot. Because if that happens again, they're going to lose game 2. But beautiful adjustment by Darvin Ham. Beautiful game overall. Sorry, this is my first one of these, so wasn't too great at it, but I'll get better as we go on and as we talk about more of these games, but hope you enjoyed.